Why were moats essential for medieval castle defense? Imagine standing in front of a mighty fortress, knowing that behind those thick stone walls, defenders are ready to protect what's theirs. But how did they keep enemies at bay? One of the most important tools was the moat. Moats were like giant ditches surrounding castles, and they played a big role in keeping attackers away. They weren't just for show, they were a key part of castle defenses during medieval times. Moats made it hard for enemies to get close to the walls. They created a physical barrier that slowed down or stopped siege weapons like battering rams and siege towers. These tools needed to be close to the walls to work well, but the water or obstacles in the moat kept attackers at a distance. If they tried to use ladders, the moat made climbing impossible or very dangerous. If they tried tunneling underneath, the moat's depth and obstacles made it much harder to succeed. There were different kinds of moats. Some were filled with water, which made crossing even more difficult for armored knights and soldiers. Others were dry but filled with sharp stakes or other obstacles that slowed down attackers. Sometimes, castles had both types, creating extra layers of protection. Building a moat was not cheap or quick. It often took many weeks or months to dig and fill, and it was a big investment for castle owners. Moats also helped defenders by giving archers a better shot. Since enemies couldn't gather close to the walls, archers could shoot arrows at a safe distance, making it harder for attackers to get close without getting hit. This meant defenders could keep up a steady attack on the enemies trying to breach the walls. To make a moat, builders often diverted nearby water sources like rivers or streams. The water in the moat was usually stagnant and sometimes smelly, but that didn't matter much to attackers. The main goal was to make it difficult for them to reach the castle walls. Moats worked with other defenses like thick walls, towers, and gatehouses to create a stronghold that was tough to conquer during a siege. In the end, moats were essential because they added an extra layer of security. They slowed down enemies, made it harder to use siege weapons, and gave defenders a better chance to fight back. Without moats, castles would have been much easier to attack and conquer. They truly were a key part of medieval castle warfare and power.